of Vesuvius public hearing, July the 15th, 2019 at 4 p.m. in council chambers. So we will call the meeting to order, and I will read a statement of the chair. This public hearing is convened pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act, RSBC 2015, to allow the public to make representation to Council respecting matters contained in OCP Amendment Bylaw number 1230.23 2019 and Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1085.122 2019. Every person present who believes that their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaw. None of you will be discouraged or prevented from making your views known. However, it is important that you restrict your remarks to matters contained in the proposed bylaw. When speaking, please proceed to the microphone and commence your remarks by clearly stating your name and address. If they wish, members of council may ask you questions following your presentation. However, the function of council at this public hearing is to listen to you rather than to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw. In accordance with the council procedure bylaw, presentations by members of the public shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes each. If a person has additional information that he is unable to provide within that time frame, he shall be given further opportunity to address council after all other interested members of the public have been heard a first time. Please refrain from applause or other expressions of emotion during this public hearing so that we may ensure as impartial a hearing as possible. After this public hearing is adjourned, council members will not speak to the public on this matter until after the matter has been dealt with at a public meeting. After this public hearing has concluded, council may, without further notice, give whatever effect council believes proper to the representations made at this hearing. The confirmation of advertising and posting requirements. Notice of this public hearing was given in accordance with the Local Government Act and the Community Charter by distributing the notice as follows. Publishing in 2 consecutive editions of the Vesuvius Times on June 27th and July 4th, 2019. Placing the notice on the bulletin boards in the town office and Planning and Development Services Department on June 18th, 2019, and posting the notice on the town's website on June 27th and distributing via e-news on July the 2nd, 2019. The summary of the staff report. The purpose of this meeting is to seek public input on OCP Amendment number 1230.23 2019 and Zoning Bylaw Amendment number 1085.122 2019, which received first and second reading on June the 17th, 2019. OCP Amendment number 1230.23 proposes that Schedule A OCP map be amended by changing the land use designation for the property described as lots 1, 2, and 3, District Lot 2450S, SDYD, Plan KAP 31946, from HR, High Density Residential, to LR, Low Density Residential. In the Zoning Amendment Bylaw, number 1085.122, 2019, proposes to change the zoning from R7, high-density residential, to R1, single-family residential, on property legally described as Lot 1, 2, and 3, District Lot 2450S, SDYD, Plan 31946, 6801, 6805, and 6809 Nighthawk Drive. So I will now ask for a report from our senior planner, Mr. MacArthur.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as mentioned, the purpose of this report is to request that Council consider Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw number 1230.23/2019 and Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1085.122/2019. The amending bylaws, if adopted, would allow for the creation of 3 new single-family homes. First and second reading of the amending bylaws were granted on June 17th, 2019. The property is located southwest of downtown on Nighthawk Drive. It consists of 3 steeply sloped parcels. Although zoned for high density, the topography of the land renders these parcels undevelopable for the current designated use. An easier option for development of the parcels is to rezone to allow for single-family homes. In regards to policy and regulation, the current OCP designation on the subject property is high-density residential, and as such, an OCP amendment would be required. The property is currently zoned R7 high-density residential, as mentioned previously, and the proposed change to R1 single-family residential would enable the construction of the 3 new homes proposed. As per the Town of Osoyoos Land Use Procedure Bylaw, rezoning application signage was placed on the subject land, notifying the public of the pending application. And notice of the public hearing was given in accordance with the Local Government Act and the Community Charter by distributing the notice, as mentioned earlier by Mayor McCordoff. So, rationale for the recommendation: subject to public hearing feedback, staff support the amendment of the to the OCP and further recommend approval of the rezoning, as the proposed development will provide additional housing for residents and infill 3 empty parcels within an existing single-family residential neighborhood. Implications for the community: the proposed rezoning will enable additional housing, as mentioned. Organizational: construction of the single-family homes would require building permits. Budget: there's no cost at this time. And significant dates: following the public hearing, Council may convene into a special open meeting, at which time 3rd reading of the amending bylaws may be considered. And sustainability: encouraging infill development is an important part of ensuring our community continues to develop in a sustainable fashion. So for options, 1, that Council convenes into a special open meeting following the public hearing and gives 3rd reading to both Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw number 1230.23 2019 and Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1085.122 2019. 2, that Council defers giving 3rd reading to the amending bylaws until a later date. 3, that Council requests revisions to the amending bylaws before proceeding further. And 4, that Council abandons the amending bylaws. And staff recommend option 1.
Thank you very much. So, do we have any correspondence that has been received on this issue? No, thank you. So, I think what we will do is allow the applicant to come and speak if he so wishes. Would you come up to the microphone, please?
My name is Herb Witcherley, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on this issue. I believe most of you know that my career was in the development and building industry here in Osoyoos and down on the Lower Mainland. I made this application for changing the zoning on these lots after meeting with Gina many times and trying to figure out just how I could put something on those lots. And the biggest issue is the slope on the lots. There's no access to the back of the property. Under the current zoning, if I put 4 units on there, it would require somewhere around 7 units of parking, which is pretty difficult to do on a 60-foot wide lot. If we went to the R1 single family, the slope doesn't become such an issue because I'm not interested in putting parking down into the back. Parking would be at the street level, much like the other homes on the street. It would be a garage on the home, and you'd have 2 parking stalls in the garage. I think putting single family on those lots, to me, makes sense. I think that it'll fit in with the already current single family homes. There's very nice homes across the street and down either side of the street. There is still some vacant property on the road. I don't know who owns it and what their plans are, but I just think that putting single family in there is the way to go. These lots have been sitting around, I think, since 1981, if I see the documents right, and I think other people have looked at this property and tried to figure out how to build on it. So I think I could do it with single family. So that's why I applied for it. Look forward to positive outfitting of this, and like to get going on it. So that's basically all I have to say.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Wycherley. Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Wycherley? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone who's sitting in the public who would like to speak to this issue? And I have to ask 3 times, don't I? Is there anyone who would like to speak to this particular official community plan and zoning issue? And for the 3rd time, is there anyone who would like to speak to this issue? Thank you. Hearing none, I will declare that this public hearing is closed.